Hello and welcome to the Food for Thought podcast with myself, Luke Gall, and my good friend, Lucy Miller.
That's me, hello!
What I loved about what you just did straight away was leant forward, but your microphone's above your head.
Who am I leaning to?
I don't know.
The food?
The laptop?
I don't know.
I need a burp. This is
Go for it.
such a terrible introduction.
Not even a minute in and we've got a burp, ladies and gentlemen.
That was extravagant. Can we move on?
I loved
Can we?
it. Yeah, let's move
right?
on. So today, guys, the thing is, I'm moving away and Luke obviously...
Boo.
I know, boo. Luke does live here. So this might... I say this like people avidly listen to the podcast.
Breaking news.
This will mean something to like one person, but this is going to be the last one for a while.
Ada, we know you're listening.
Hello, Ada.
That's terrible. Don't do that again.
I know she'll probably hate it.
I hope so.
Sorry, Ada.
I hope she never talks to you ever again. For that.
I heard what you did. But it'd be in a Scottish accent, so it'd be like, I heard what you did.
Yeah, that's exactly what she sounds like. That's spot on. Absolutely spot on.
Either way, we're feeling fancy and fresh because today is the end of the trilogy.
It is. That was incredible. that deserves its own soundbite. Yeah, it is. And we thought we were going to finish with the best one, didn't we? Because we thought this was.
Ooh.
Oh, hello.
Sorry, it's Linda.
How dare you? Who's Linda? It's our friend who's not actually called Linda. Unless it's a 40-year-old mum.
No, it is.
It is a 40-year-old mum called Linda.
Yeah, Zach's mum.
It has to be. No one's called
Of
Linda
course,
who's in
yeah.
their 20s.
I don't know a Linda. Well, I do.
We've definitely clarified that you do know a Linda. And she has just made contact with you.
She has indeed. Twice. Lucky
Oh my
me.
god, yeah, look at you. Anyway, please,
but-
let's move on.
Back to the pizza.
Yeah. This is such a terrible start.
I'm just so excited.
Also, Lizzie threw out an accidental South African impression just before we started recording.
I didn't mean to.
So we've named her Carol. She may interfere with the podcast once in a while. Suddenly, just Lucy disappears and South African Carol returns, just for for whatever reason she might.
She is waiting in the wings, the chicken wings.
That's not good.
What's going on?
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Oh, so
Why are we
basically,
so full of energy?
I don't know where it's come from. It might be the Coke.
Yeah,
Coca-Cola.
the real Coke, not Pepsi. The real Coke.
Yeah.
Not the Coke. Not the Coke. I didn't realise what you meant.
If there was something that was
Coca-Cola.
going to happen today, so Luke and I decided to order Dominos. And naturally, I was like, ooh, might get a fun drink. And then I was like, but wait, hark, what if they only serve Pepsi? So I immediately checked the website, and they do, in fact, serve Coke.
It's got to help that, right?
I mean,
Pizza Hut? Did they?
what do Domino's call it? They call it a thirst quencher. You don't look
They've
under
got some
drinks.
silly names. I'm going to have to get the laptop around them.
You don't look under drinks for your beverages. It's under a thirst quencher. And to be fair to them, it has done what it has claimed to do.
Even though you're literally
Tucking in.
1/8 of the bottle in.
Oh yeah.
Strong Coke.
Disclaimer, I drink very slowly.
And eat very slowly.
Yeah.
It's the way you are. It's the way you roll.
Yeah, like a
It means
child.
that it works better for us to do these pods as we're eating, which is what's happening. So apologies, because we are a man down today since we did the other two with Grace McCartney.
I know, shout out.
Miss you, Grace.
Shout out now to Grace.
She has left.
We will dedicate
She
this
has left
podcast.
us.
In it, I've seen the Instagram/Snapchat, not sure which.
Both.
She's having a great time. Wherever she is, even though there's not pizza
She's
there.
in Nepal, right?
I don't know, but
I believe she's in
having a
Nepal.
great time.
She's definitely going to Nepal this summer, and I'm pretty sure that must be where she is because she's
That
there
is
for a
sick.
while. Have fun. She's been a dentist in Nepal.
Looking at Napoleon teeth.
Napoleon.
Napoleon.
Like Napoleon
Are you
Dynamite.
Nepalesian teeth.
I think Nepalese might be bang on.
Nepalese. Teeth of the Nepalese.
What a great name for a metal band.
Or a second film of a franchise. The Bridge to Nepalesia. No, what did I say? The Teeth to Nepalese,
can we-
starring Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, boom.
Can we title this podcast "The Effects of Coca-Cola and Lucy Miller" and have nothing to do with actually the pizza that we're eating?
Listen, I am who I am.
I am loving this today. We are fancy
I've also
fresh.
had no human contact today apart from Luke, so I think that's part of it.
100%.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
That'll be it.
Strong start. I don't know if we can keep this up for 45 minutes.
I might crash, so I'm going to have some more chicken.
Yeah, so here's what we got.
What's the last
There's only
one
two
I
of us
had?
today because, we miss you, Grace.
R.I.P.
Yeah, no longer with us.
You're Nepal's now.
Yeah. So we only got the one pizza because we can't stomach more than that. We're not animals.
I'm not mad.
And we only got one side as well. We didn't get a huge amount, but we're trying to give us the best content we can.
We've both eaten at Domino's before, so we didn't think it'd be that much of an issue. We bore that in mind.
Hey.
We had it in mind
We're with you all the way, Lucy. Don't worry about it.
when we picked our toppings. Because we decided to go... Right, this is the first issue that we found with Domino's online. Apart from their very convoluted deal system.
And the way that they title the sections of...
Ew, yeah. They've started selling wraps and it has 2 Zs at the end. We'll discuss that later.
WRAPZZ. What the hell is the point in that?
Just in case a wrap with an S isn't funny enough.
It's not cool enough. The kids
Yeah.
aren't interested. They only want food that's misspelled.
You can only make a half and half pizza at Domino's, which is where Pizza Hut beat them hands down because this is really easy at Pizza Hut. You can only do a half and half pizza if you choose their toppings. So you can have like half meat feast and half margarita. But the only way you can put like your own toppings on it completely freestyle is if you use up the whole pizza. Carnage.
I don't know if that's true, but I trust you. But also, there's a weird way that you can change toppings on pizzas because you can.
Could I have
you can press
bought,
customize?
Like, a margarita? Could I have done like 2 halves of margarita and then just put random crap on each half?
I don't know. We should probably check.
Because that might be the way around that. In which case, more fool me.
I'll have a
But
look.
Pizza Hut make it well easy. Pizza Hut are just like, yeah, so what do you want on each side of your pizza, mate? And you do
I'm
it.
scared. The laptop is currently a prisoner of where it is positioned.
Inaccessible.
Yeah, I might have to.
Inaccessible.
We're going to leave that for now.
But like,
Oh wait, where's yours?
oh, it's here.
I'll use
you want
yours.
it?
Yeah.
But yeah, they just make it. Can you lift it with one hand?
It's a very heavy laptop. This one.
It's an absolute beast.
Password? Have you got a password on it?
I'm not telling the people of the public.
Why not?
Or just the public as
It's only
they're
Ada.
known.
Just tell Ada.
I've already offended Ada.
Well, the only way you can regain her trust is by telling her your password.
My computer password, so she can look at pics from me when I was like 15.
Exactly.
Actually, I deleted all of those. So
I was explaining to Lucy how depressing it is because I've got a new MacBook, which sounds great. The only reason I've got one is because my old one got water damaged pretty horrifically. But it was my own fault, so I'm not going to complain. But the new MacBook, so the cheapest one I could get was $12.50.
Yeah.
Which is expensive to begin with, mate. $12.50.
Very expensive.
Like, I'm pretty sure my old MacBook, when it was brand new, wasn't quite that expensive.
No,
It was
I
like
think
$1,100 or something.
in it, I think there are more in that ballpark, depending, of course, if you buy them
Yeah.
with student discounts and what have you,
Yeah.
and whether you get Apple Care. But when we
$12.50 without anything though.
in it, when we bought that I think was about £900
Yeah,
or
exactly.
a bit more.
It's a Pro, right? Yeah. Because
Yeah,
you can get
it's an old
you can get a
Pro.
regular MacBook, but you can't get a Pro anymore for unless it's $12.50.
No, the
You
Pros
can
are
get
very
the regular
expensive
ones.
now, aren't they? Is it Linda?
Probably, yeah. It says just looking at lunch, booking for Friday.
Eh? Sorry, this isn't relevant. I'll
There's
explore
really-
this in my own time.
Oh, is it? Yeah, it's something to do with the lunch booking for Friday, but I'm going to leave that be.
Oh gosh, okay.
Anyway, I'm having a quick look. So what we can try and do is... Where is the half and half? That's a great point. Where is...
That's the
Oh, wait.
thing.
Let me have a look. I'm going to find it.
Because I think the only way round it, as I said, would be to buy 2 halves of margarita and then dress them yourself. But I think it'd be quite expensive.
Lucy, I think I found it.
You know what I'm saying?
I think I found it.
Oh, is it just me who can't use a
I
website?
think so, yeah.
Oh, that's deep. Oh.
Wait a sec.
Either way.
Oh, Lucy, you've got this so wrong.
Oh.
We want to immediately rescind everything we just said in the last 5 minutes.
Legally, I do take
But listen,
all of
you're
that
going to get this. It's raw and uncut, this podcast. You're just getting what you're given.
Because what we did was buy a nude make-your-own pizza and just fill it with toppings. We got chicken, mushroom and jalapenos, and it's dank.
It really is.
It's nice.
But
I'm going to move it more in Luke's direction, actually, because I know.
because we're going to be honest, and Lucy can't stomach half of a large pizza.
I can't.
Don't. Whoa! That doesn't mean you give the entire rest of the pizza on my side. I'm not
No,
going to
but
eat
it's
that.
just there for you to tuck into. There's
Oh,
no...
she's like the grandma who wants to feed you really well, and you end up chubby.
The point...
She's like, oh, have a little bit more. Look, do you want a Kit Kat? No, not okay. Do you want
Just have a Kit
do you
Kat,
want a Yorkie? No, oh, you don't want chocolate? Okay. Do you want? Can I get you?
Biscuit.
Yeah, can I get you a sandwich? Like, do you want some toast? Like, no, I'm not hungry. I've got popcorn. Like, no, grandma, please. That's what Lucy is right
The
now.
point of this podcast actually is, like, over this period of time of a year, maybe longer than that, actually, was to just make Luke really fat so that I could eat him. But it hasn't worked.
Because we haven't done them regularly enough. If we had done them more regularly, I think it would have
If
just
I made
about,
you do it once a week.
It would have just about knocked me out for the count.
Yeah, especially the pizza ones. The pizza ones have been like, there's a lot of food.
I've
to
been like
eat.
on a total health kick. The worst I've done over the last 2 weeks is have 5 pints in one night, which was bad. But it was worth
that's
it.
not too bad.
No, it's pretty bad. But apart from that, I was having like...
You know, bread-wise, what are you looking at
I'm
if
off.
you drink
I'm
5
off on
pints?
bread. Oh, what, sorry?
What's the equivalent? Because someone once told me, they were like, did you know that 8 pints is equivalent to like 2 loaves of bread? And I was like, you're having me.
I mean, I just don't think they're not comparable, right? Really?
Yeah, because of the gluten.
Oh, I've got no idea.
And I've
I've cut bread out entirely though. Clearly not, because
Of
I'm eating
course.
pizza. But apart from this,
beer is calorie intake, though, isn't it?
I don't do Slim World or anything, but I'm aware of the sin count on Slim World for certain foods. That's the one thing
Oh,
I've
of
been keeping an eye
course.
on.
Yeah.
And apparently 1 pint of beer is 13 sins, and you're allowed 15 in one full day.
Oh,
so if you have
that's
1
loads.
pint, you're basically not allowed to have anything
To have
else.
any of your fun food.
Nothing else, not a single thing. Like 1 hobnob is like 3.5 sins. So if you had
Oh.
1 hobnob and a pint of beer, you can't.
Get
that's
me
it.
away from that.
I think you're going to be all right. You've kept yourself in strong physique, Lucy Miller.
Oh,
You're
so
You're
kind.
an athlete among athletes,
Thank you.
quite frankly.
It's just like, I totally, if you, like, to be able to stick to that regime, bloody hell, Mind of Steel. Talking of Mind of Steel, recently watched Karate Kid, the original, Mr. Miyagi. Miyagi?
Yeah.
Moagi?
I'm not entirely sure, but carry on.
Mr. Miyagi. I'm not sure. Either way, such a good film. Not the Jaden Smith one, haven't seen it. Original Karate Kid.
Maggio.
1984.
I'm not sure.
No, yeah, it was made in 84. Not to be confused with the
I mean, I can't
George
do.
Orwell.
I really hope. Yeah, not the same. I was reading that today.
Were you?
Because it's my favorite book of all time. I've only read like
Is
7.
it?
I haven't read many books, but it's my favorite book of all time.
Sick.
Did it at A level.
Nice.
Fucking loved it. Apologies for the expletives there.
Either way, though, Karate Kid, definitely watch it. It's so good. Luke's flabbergasted. I've blown him away.
Luke put lots of food in his mouth and
No, he
suddenly
didn't. He
realised
was
that
just-
everyone was looking at him for
He
something
was just
to say.
absolutely blown away by my point.
Well played, Lucy Miller. But let's move on. We will talk about pizza eventually, I think.
Yeah.
And what was I doing?
We're allowed to celebrate.
I was telling you that you
but-
can do half and half, unfortunately, Lucy. But it
Yeah.
is more confusing than pizza. I'll give you that, but it is there, unfortunately.
Oh, as if I'm making fun of them for having wraps and I can't even navigate their website.
It's all right, mate. Listen, we still like you. We're still friends. Anyway, let's talk about pizza for a minute, since that is the point of this podcast.
Yeah, let's do
How
it.
far in are we? 20 minutes! Oh, no, we started
Are you
recording
there?
earlier. We're like 15 minutes in, though, and Jesus Christ, no word of pizza yet, basically.
Well, I've told them what we've bought. I didn't say that we bought chicken strips.
Are you going to have the end of that chicken? Or you left that deliberately
Oh, I
for me?
left that for you.
I thought you did. She's a good friend. Thanks for that. Sorry, this is why we should eat first, but I don't
Yeah.
care.
No, I like to eat as we go along because otherwise all the food goes cold. Which,
Also, sometimes you just forget what you're talking about because you stop eating.
yeah.
You
Sometimes you get, as well, depending on the food, you, as you say, get a little bit taken away by what you're eating. You're like, oh, this is so delicious. Like, or what you're eating is too messy. So do you remember when we had the burritos?
Yeah.
Bloody nightmare. Because if you bite one of those, you instantly get fallout. Your mouth is very full, and you have to like wipe your hands.
Not ideal for podcasting at all.
No, but I did.
That's when you really need the mic stands and you need like to not be able to touch anything.
I did enjoy it as a discussion point though, because with Zapatistas, there's a lot to say.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how much we're going to have to say today because we did Pizza Hut second out of the 3 because we believed that we'd be doing it in reverse order. Quite frankly, didn't we?
Yeah.
We thought Papa John's would be the worst, Pizza Hut would be the second best, Domino's would be the best.
Yeah, and
Just based on what we've consumed, Domino's, for whatever reason, is very student-driven, which may have influenced our decision a little bit because all 3 of us are students.
we discussed that with Grace last time, and it's because, and we think this was in my first year and her second year, or something like that, Domino's did a 50% off voucher code.
Yeah.
That it didn't matter what you were buying, it didn't matter how much you were buying,
Yeah.
you could use it.
I remember it well.
And they've binned it, so I think they've probably taken quite a hit since.
That was the real grandma to me. The chubbying grandma.
Yeah.
That wasn't a
50%
person,
off.
it was the 50% off Domino's.
Definitely.
Man, that was bad.
Because Domino's with 50% off is just cheap enough that you feel like you can get away with it.
And if you really want to be careful with how much you spend as well, you can spend like a tenner.
Yeah,
With a mate. You can like have a mate around and you'd be like, we're going to get
exactly.
a large pizza and a side and we're going to get it for a tenner.
Yeah.
It's like as cheap as
You
golden
can
spoons.
navigate it. Now it's really difficult to apply codes to Domino's, and it works, I think, to their detriment because you lose patience with it. And if you really want it, yeah, you just pay the money. But I think if we weren't, say we just gathered here today to buy pizza, I think I just would have got annoyed and been like, let's go to Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
Not Papa John's because he's not a nice man. But but Pizza Hut.
Yeah, agreed.
I just would have been like, CBA, like, they're trying to rob me.
Agreed. It's disappointing. It makes me feel like the whole experience of being in first or second year now is just completely different.
Yeah,
like
food
food
what
wise,
are you kids
like what?
eating now?
Yeah,
What's
what are
your-
you?
Yeah.
What's your specialist? Like,
You
oh,
going-
I've got 5 of us around tonight. We're all having a couple of beers. What are we gonna get?
Yeah, what are you eating?
Like, why are you getting Domino's over anything else now? Quite frankly, I don't know why.
Actually, I tell you what they are eating. Now that we're in the land of Uber Eats, Mackies. You can order Mackies so easily, and let's face it, who lives more than 20 minutes away from a Mackies? Very few people. So usually by the time they get it to you, especially if you've ordered a lot of food, it will sort of keep each other warm. The bits keep each other warm.
And even
so
then,
you can get
like-
like a decent Mackies.
And Mackey's chips are inconsistent at the best of times, so really getting it from Uber Eats or wherever or Deliveroo is no different than going to McDonald's anyway, because you could get cold chips even there.
Very
know what I
true.
mean?
Yeah.
Like,
you could get a badly
You
assembled
could
one.
you could
of
literally
burger if
make
you're
the
there,
effort
Yeah.
from 20 minutes away from McDonald's to go yourself, walk through the door, order a meal, and still get cold chips.
Yeah.
So
So it's worth the risk on Uber Eats.
I agree. That's a fantastic point.
That's what they're getting.
Because I
innit?
never really thought about that. It's entirely different. Yeah, well, they're just getting whatever they want. That's the
'Cause-
difference. We were a bit more limited. We sound old. I don't mean to be like that. We're not. We're clearly not. Just like a couple of
Oh,
years
yeah,
ago,
we're
it
not
just
old.
didn't seem.
It just wasn't a thing. Like
It was just a
I-
different crowd. Like you had certain foods you could get when you wanted to just get a takeaway, but now it's like basically anything.
You can get anything. I remember last year, me and my flatmate always used to. Well, not always, but like for takeaway, sometimes we'd get a fast food delivery man, but sometimes he wasn't open, and sometimes if he was overwhelmed with business, he wouldn't like take your order, and that's basically become Uber Eats. Like he was just one guy operating like round Jesmond, I assume. But he was just a guy with a car who would drive to Mackey's for you. Like if you went in
And
an
just
Uber,
put a little service charge on there, basically.
yeah, exactly. Just inflated the price. But now Uber have decided to branch into that and like merged.
Deliveroo first, though, weren't they?
Yeah, but Uber Eats ate up Mackey's.
Oh, Deliveroo don't do
You
Mackies.
can't get Mackey's Deliveroo. But I
Oh my
do
God, I
believe
didn't know that.
now they have their own app anyway. Mackey's run their own delivery service, I think.
Yeah, I don't know if it's limited to certain places, but
Yes,
yeah, I think that's
because you
right.
can order your food to your house from Mackey's themselves. You don't always have to go through Uber, I don't think. Either way, that's not pizza. And we're
We're going to
as
say that
much as
phrase
I-
probably a few more times
as
before
much
the end
as
of this
I
podcast.
love McDonald's, and we will do a McDonald's podcast at some point.
I think that might be the final one.
Yeah.
When we concede, like,
When
even
we're like,
though
we
you,
cannot do this anymore, yeah.
When you come for a reunion one, and we're like, I think this might be the last
The
one.
Mackies,
That's when we
yeah.
pull out Mackies.
Definitely.
That's when we get the audience.
There's so much. I think we should get like a decent crowd in for the Mackies as well, like so we can order loads of different food. I know there's
Ooh, interesting.
I know
like
there's a limit to
select-
how many people can speak.
No, there's not.
But like if we
It's-
did like boom mic style around the room, we could
You
have
just gotta have some seriously good podcast etiquette to do
Yes.
that. Because even I accidentally interrupt you sometimes when I'm really into what you're saying, and like I want to interrupt because I'm so interested in what you're saying. Like I want to be like yeah. But like
Yeah.
if 6 people do that, all of a sudden
It's
nothing
carnage.
makes sense anymore.
And if you've got someone that's like particularly loud or like
Which we definitely have friends who would fall into that category.
oh definitely.
Almost all of them, I would say.
Music's such a weird spectrum because like you meet people who are so quiet and like don't want to talk to anyone, and then at the opposite end of the spectrum you've got like loud brass players in that.
Yeah.
Like it's such a mix of people. Like
It like brings out super extroverts, but then it also
I did
Yeah.
a string orchestra. I think I was like 18. It was like Greater Manchester Youth Strings. So I rocked up ready for this rehearsal, and it's like string players from all over Manchester, and you have to apply to it. Blah blah blah. It's as boring as it sounds. And I went along, and everyone always says that string players are timid, don't they? Like they're like notoriously a bit like to themselves, very quiet
100%.
people. None of them would speak to me. It was so weird. Like I know I'm
because
not
they were so introverted.
yeah, there were just a lot of very shy people. Like, obviously, I managed to sort of break my way in there briefly, but I found that when you, like, it's bad to be like, yeah, you're like your instrument, but I don't know, sometimes you do see a general pattern.
100% a general pattern.
Like, it was really weird because I playing other instruments and doing other things, other ensembles. You walk into some stuff and they're all like, "Whoa."
And do you think maybe that's why you're slightly more leaning that way because of the other instruments you play?
Yeah, for sure. Because like being
Like
a
playing
viola
sax and stuff.
being a viola player and meeting other string players, you definitely notice the general trend is different than sort of even just like wind players. Because I remember I was in an orchestra back in Manchester, and I used to play viola for them, and like we wouldn't really talk in rehearsals. Like I'd shout out every now and again, but then I started playing oboe and like got okay
In the same orchestra?
Yeah, and got okay enough to switch because they were like, "We'd rather you played that."
Yeah.
So much banter in that section. You've got clarinets, you've got the brass behind you. So much going on. I was like, "What's this new world I've never been a part of that's been 5 feet behind me the whole time?" It was sick.
How did you never notice?
I don't know. You hear them making jokes and laughing, but because you literally have your back to them, you can't play, like being in a section of other silent people. It wasn't really the done thing to turn around and be like, "Wait!" Like it just wasn't the thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like when people say, I think when people say some instrumentalists are a certain way, like I think that is a thing. Brass players not neck the pints.
Yep.
They just do.
And they generally are just a bit more
They're rowdy.
rowdy. Yeah, that's a good word for them.
I know as well that isn't about food, but we're all here to learn.
Hey, listen, we don't care anymore. If you're listening to this, you're probably a musician.
You don't want to listen, you don't want to listen.
That wasn't Carol, but that was
someone else.
another cameo from a different character.
That was Brett Pleisner from the Daily Star. I'm from New York, and I've got a little hat on, and I'm ready to take the nose.
You wouldn't believe how much she was into that if you were in the room. You wouldn't believe how much you were into that. It was incredible. Your face was so into that. So much emotion, so much passion.
I had to find the character from within.
You found it.
I did.
Congratulations. I would clap. I've got a microphone in my hand. I need a
And
burp
for
again.
my next year, I will be applying to RADA, where I will be accepted as a professional actor.
You need to lay off the coke, mate. Actually, you don't. This is incredible entertainment. I'm glad I'm just along for the ride. I always considered myself to be along for the ride in these pods anyway, and I just try to let Lucy fly off because she's got her brain is just a weird and wonderful place to be.
Ooh.
What's that free reaction? You disagree?
I looked into my internal pit of darkness. Everyone has one. Don't lie and say that you don't.
Ugh.
Everyone's got a weird place inside of them where, like, if you're not feeling your tippity topness,
Yeah.
you head into it and,
Yeah.
like, you just sort of spiral down and feel your inner shame.
Oh, and you went there straight away?
And that's what just happened. I was like,
poor
is
you.
my life perfect? Hello, doctors. It was really weird.
Oh my god.
Nobody's
Can I talk to
perfect.
Carol instead? Maybe she's
Carol cannot come to the phone right now.
so not good.
She's too busy eating pizza.
Right, here's what we're gonna do. This is an intervention. We're gonna talk about pizza for 5-10 solid minutes.
Oh,
and
yeah, I can
and
do
then
that.
we can go off again. Right. Domino's cookies.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Now we didn't get them. Half financial restraints. Half we would never been
Belly
able to
room.
eat any more of that food anyway.
We've
Because
both had them before.
I've had them many a time. I was saying to you that basically for a year, anytime I got a Domino's, I'd also get Domino's cookies.
Luke has a personal connection to the cookie.
I do. I'd give them a solid 6-7 out of 10 if you eat them hot.
Oh, warm.
They're better with ice
They're
cream.
strong, yeah.
Yeah, but they're better with ice cream, but you don't get ice cream with them.
And you know who does
not-
give you ice cream? Pizza
The
Hut.
Hut of Pizza.
So, this is one of the things that makes me lean towards Pizza Hut.
And so it begins, because as I said, I was going to
Yeah.
get onto this, I think, 20 minutes ago before we went off on 7 tangents.
Because we'd have to check, but I also don't think their cookies are as expensive.
I think you can get, don't quote me on this, I think you can get something like 2 cookie doughs for £6 or £7.
Right.
So they're like a little bit cheaper.
And with ice cream.
And they're with ice cream.
Yeah.
Domino's cookies are £4, I think. Oh, they're more. They're slightly more than £4. They're like £4.50 for 4.
Yeah. They're just under a fiver, yeah.
Yeah. And you can like double up for £8 or something, which makes them a pound each, but that's a lot of cookies. Like, we don't need that many.
No.
They're pretty good. Yeah. Anyway, as I was saying, the point is, we thought this was going to be the best pizza, and I'm not entirely sure.
We were really... I think
The cookies
when
are
we did
included in
Papa
that.
John's, we were very set for it to be the best. But
Well,
I
Papa
think,
John's to be the best.
No, for Domino's to be the best. Because I remember being
Yeah,
like,
like
it's not
at
going to be as good
Podcast
as
One,
Domino's. Yeah.
Pizza Hut kind of threw a spanner in the works.
It
when
did.
It was a really decent pizza.
Because we started evaluating it like price-wise. But I've not been on the Domino's website in a while. And clearly, given today's mistake, I still don't know how to use it.
Clearly.
But what is going on is that they seem to have adjusted themselves to somehow be more sort of parallel with Pizza Hut.
I agree.
Pizza Hut do these like cinnamon twist things. You know, where like they just have done every version of bread. They've done dessert bread, side bread, main bread. Like they've done it.
Yeah.
And Domino's now make like cinnamon sticks.
Yeah.
And they also sell...
They've got those dough balls.
They've got the dough
They've got
balls.
garlic bread, pizza.
They sell so many different kinds of ice cream now, and instead of having to buy massive drinks, which is the classic with takeaway, you're like, oh yes, I'll buy like 4 bottles of 1,000,000 litres of Coke.
Yeah.
You can just buy a 150ml. Or is it 500
500
millilitres? Yeah, 150 is like
50
nothing,
centilitres
yeah.
is what you didn't mean, but
A
kind of was the
hand-sized bottle of Coke is what I mean.
same. Yeah.
Kind of, yeah. And they're like
Which-
150, which isn't too criminal.
Let me check.
Because in like Sainsbury's and stuff now, they're like 140, aren't they?
Yeah.
So...
And yours are yours might have been the same price as mine, but
It was,
yours
despite
yours
the sugar
didn't have the
tax.
sugar tax on
Yeah,
it, which is
I don't
quite
know.
good.
Yeah, Luke's was just as expensive.
Mine, I got a
as
Coke
mine.
Zero, and mine was the same price as Miller's normal Coke.
Ka-ching!
Yeah, it's just you just wouldn't expect it. Is all I'd say.
No, I agree. But they must have like a takeaway element to it that means they can...
Pizza Hut do Pepsi.
See, that's...
If you want to have 30 seconds on that, I understand. I'm gonna have another slice of pizza. I'm rocking this pizza today.
I've
earned
in
it.
I'm going to say, in this case, the lack of Coca-Cola, if I were to order pizza, isn't enough to drive me away from Pizza Hut.
I'm glad you've managed to
Yeah.
come back down to earth and believe
Because
that.
price, quality, freedom of toppings, and like they were quick on delivery time. They were also very amicable when we got the wrong pizza. They were just like, we're going to
Although
send
having said
you a
that,
whole
they
other
are
one.
notorious for giving you the wrong pizzas.
Yeah, but if they make up for it like that, I don't know.
And then you end up getting more pizza. It's
Yeah,
kind of an
exactly.
inconvenience, I understand
I'd
that.
rather
But
wait an extra 10 minutes and get like
yeah.
more.
And if you're on
food.
time constraints, you shouldn't really be trying to rely on a delivery service for anyway
Exactly.
for
If
your
you're in
takeaway.
a rush, why have you ordered Pizza Hut anyway?
Because you don't know when it's going to turn up.
Exactly. You don't know. I don't know where the nearest Pizza Hut is. I think it comes from Chile Road, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. So, but not everyone knows that. So what I mean is that Pizza Hut are good enough at what they do that I am willing to forego the Coke. Because if anything, I'll just walk and buy myself a Coke.
Which
Or I don't
we've
know
done
what-
anyway for like other things. Like
We
we're just
did
like
that
we're
for
just
Papa
going to get our
John's,
own
didn't we?
drinks, like because the
You guys went to
selection wasn't
Tesco?
worth it. We're just like, let's go to Tesco and just get a drink.
Yeah, because Domino's have nailed that a little bit because the price of their drinks, you're not like, I'm not paying £3 for this. Like, you just
And it's
stick
the
it on
2
your
litre thing
order
as well, not having to get a 2 litre bottle of Tango.
and be stuck with it.
And then you're like, well, there's only 2 of us, we're going to have like a quarter of this.
Exactly. And then one of you's got to keep in the fridge and never drinks it. And
Exactly. Like I understand that we're being nitpicky, but we got to be at some point because they are 1A and 1B, I think.
Yeah.
Papa John's is out of the question. I think it's a
Yeah.
little bit cheaper, but my God, it should be.
If you can get either of the other two in your locality, don't get Papa John's. Like, don't bother. It's the same if you're on a high street and you want a burger, just don't go to Five Guys. You don't need to.
Yeah.
Like, you just don't. Maybe
It's-
for the
it's
chips,
more of a-
I get
it's
it
more of
if
a
you go for the chips.
statement.
Yeah.
And
I
I
think
question the kind of person who feels the need to make that statement because let's be honest, you're just getting a burger.
in it, and
And
like,
it's not going to be great for you regardless of what you do. You're not getting a healthier option. You're just getting a slightly
No.
higher quality option, but really it's not that much higher quality anyway because we
and
got it. And it was
wider
expensive.
freedom with your drink, but it's also really expensive. I think what draws people in is the diner vibe,
Yeah.
because
And the culture of it.
Yeah.
Like Five Guys is kind of cool.
like, oh my god, it's American.
For whatever
that
reason, it's
thing.
kind of cool, Five Guys. And especially when it first came up, everyone was like, oh, have you been to Five Guys?
Yeah,
I was like, well, no.
Like
Because
when
it's
we
like
got
12 quid for a meal, and I don't want to spend 12 quid on a burger and chips.
exactly. Like when we got Reese's here, it's like, oh my god, have you tried like Reese's or Hershey's? Just because
Hershey's.
it's dead.
Don't start me on Hershey's.
It's dead. It tastes like, and this is exactly what it tastes like, so no one challenge me on this comparison. It tastes like Advent calendar chocolate because the sugar is high and the cocoa quantity and milk quantity is low. It's calendar chocolate. It's chocolate that if you left it outside on a semi-warm day wouldn't melt. Because
That is such a fantastic
because
observation.
there's not enough chocolate in the chocolate for it to be like, I had a crunchy in my bag the other day, and I was like, I'm gonna take this on the train. It's very hot, but it's a risk. I like a crunchy. I'll take it.
I am a big fan of crunchy. I'm fully
So
advocating
nice,
that. Yeah.
so nice.
They melt though.
They do, because there's not that much chocolate on there.
No.
Open my bag. Obviously, it was liquid. But I was like, that's how it should be.
Yeah.
It's chocolate,
You
and it's
accepted
like
that.
24 degrees.
Don't complain that your chocolate melted when you put it in a hot environment for like hours.
Exactly.
Of course it's going to.
It's meant to.
How
but
have we ended up here?
Hershey's, questionable.
Yeah, I agree.
It has that powdery feel. It's bad.
The point of all that, when we don't really dig the whole, it's cool because it's American thing.
Yeah, like...
Although everything is American, basically. All of these food
Domino's
chains.
is American, isn't it?
Domino's, Papa John's, Pizza Hut, as far as I'm aware, they're all American.
Yeah, very true.
But
it's
then
just...
Subway, American.
Yes.
Like, basically all of the fast foods we've done are
Mackey's
American. I understand that.
Quintessentially American.
And I want to quickly say a disclaimer that we both talked about this before we started recording, and we talked about it maybe on both of the other podcasts.
Yeah.
If you're in America, this is maybe a whole other kettle of fish.
So true, because I mentioned in the last one that I watched a YouTube video by a guy who lived in America. I think he is from like New Jersey or something, I don't know. But he was like, Domino's, where he was from, was the pizza that gets like laughed at. Like Papa John's is the king, and
Yeah.
then Domino's is like, oh my god, why are you getting
Maybe it's because
Domino's?
Americans love horrendous people.
Yeah, maybe
They've
John
got a
was
track
from
record
there.
with really enjoying people who have got very questionable morals.
But like, it seems to be a thing that Domino's in different parts of America is varying levels of good. I believe
All of
Domino's
them, I
in
think.
New York is all right because
Yeah.
they have to up their game because they're competing with so much like quality pizza.
Oh, well, I mean, New York's a whole other animal, I
It's a
imagine.
microcosm of
There's no
just-
point in
yeah.
going to a fast food chain for pizza because the best pizza potentially in America is in New York.
Yes.
It won't be one of those three places.
American pizza's its own thing as well because I watched. There's, as I said last
Deep
time,
dish,
we
Chicago
watched-
town.
Yeah, there's so many different kinds of pizza. And Italian pizza, I'd say, is distinctly different.
I
from
think
American pizza.
my main man, Sean Evans, who does Hot Ones,
Yes.
he did a very quick version of Hot Ones on the Stephen Colbert show.
Okay.
And he asked Colbert about the pizza thing, and he was like, what do you prefer, a New York pizza slice or like a Chicago deep dish?
Oh no.
And then he went off on one saying like how they're just totally different like species, which
They
is a
are.
good way to think about it because they're just completely different foods. Like pizza's kind of so
the base
diverse.
of a Domino's, you can buy a pizza where the base of the Domino's we're looking at now is like twice as thick. Like a deep pan pizza.
Yeah.
And I don't get that as a thing. I don't understand it.
I understand because if anyone loves a good bit of bread, it's me.
Fair.
One of the most important life decisions I've made in the last few weeks is
to
to
cut it
just
out.
cut bread out of my life, and I feel so much cleaner for it.
Innit?
Because I eat, but that's not because I'm dissing bread in general.
No,
it's
bread
because
has
I
things you need
ate
in your
so
diet,
much
but,
bread.
Yeah, I understand.
It was in like every meal. It was just carbs. Like
Yeah.
I'd eat pasta or bread.
Yeah.
Like every meal was basically pasta or bread.
That is a tricky hole you can fall into at uni.
You'd have
for
like
anyone's
scrambled
trying
egg and
out.
beans on toast for breakfast, and then pasta for lunch, and then maybe again
Yeah.
some pasta for tea or some
No, I
bready
did that
thing
in
for
second
tea.
year.
Like,
I've never been like a sandwich fan, so I never, we didn't have a
Me
toaster
too.
in second year. So, and like now, I will not buy a loaf of bread because I'll maybe eat 2 slices and it'll
that's
go
the
off.
thing is the
If there's one of you,
if you're not feeding like a family of 4 or something,
There's no point.
There's no point in getting a loaf of bread almost because you have to either dedicate to getting through a lot of it or you're not eating any of
and I
it.
won't be one of those people who freezes bread. I'm not going to go there. I'm not a mum of 4 living
Yeah.
a heavy, hectic
You're not called
work
Linda.
lifestyle. And I'm not trying to balance my kids and my life. I will not freeze my bread.
Yeah, well said. That
There's
was from
one of
Lucy,
me.
definitely not from Linda.
There is one.
Or
of
Carol,
me.
who also sounds like a mother.
Carol has 3 children.
She's off. What I love is you're still talking about her in the third person, but
Yeah,
that's meant to be
no.
her.
Carol only talks about herself in the third person.
Good. That makes things slightly. That makes things more
She's
confusing.
that kind of person.
Fantastic. More confusing. That's
Yeah.
great. Right. So I'm gonna have one more slice. You need to have some more. You need to have one of those slices, mate. If not, you better
might-
come up with some cracking takes for me because we need to conclude. We need to conclude this
I
podcast
might
somehow.
eat the peppers off it.
That is.
The chicken on that was actually kind of nice. I thought it'd taste like really cheap chicken, and I don't know what quality it is, but it tastes all right. It's definitely got its own flavour. It's not just spongy.
That's nice chicken.
Yeah, it's all right in it.
But what I said to you before we recorded as well was, Domino's always seems in like comparison to particularly Pizza Hut. I can't talk too much about Papa John's because again that was like the second time me and you'd had a Papa John's, right? But the first time
Yeah.
was like in a huge gathering with lots of people. and you
was
didn't really
good,
get to
though.
sit down. It was not bad at all.
Yeah, their margarita was alright.
The margarita was pretty good. But anyway, my point is, I can only speak really for Pizza Hut and Domino's, truly.
Yeah,
but
we've explored extensively.
But I do feel like, I said this before, I do feel like if Pizza Hut put their pizza in the oven for, say, 10 minutes, Domino's puts theirs in for like 8.5. Like, everything's like just a little bit less cooked. And I'm not saying it's undercooked or like it's like they're, you know, running the line of like poisoning people. Of course, I'm not saying that, but like
They just
things just don't crisp as much. Like it always feels a bit
No.
more doughy. But half of the reason it can feel more doughy is like, you know, when you get something that's bready, but it looks less crispy. It looks doughy. It looks more doughy immediately, just because it's not as cooked.
They definitely know quite precisely how long their pizza needs for you to get the classic Domino's level of doughiness, because they are quite consistent. Like, I've never had a crispy Domino's ever.
Me neither.
So they're never putting it in for more than 10 minutes, as you say. We're definitely under 10.
Yeah.
Like, as a full blast.
In relation to...
I've had like variations on doughy. Sometimes you get it and it's just too doughy. But largely they are
But again,
quite
it's never
consistent.
not doughy enough, though, is it?
No.
It
As I
hinges
say, it's
between
never
too
too
doughy
hard.
and an acceptable amount of doughy.
Yeah.
But it's never not doughy enough. They
One-
go quite heavy on the dough, I think.
Oh, they do. It's their thing, isn't it?
Like, yeah, like exactly. Like you're saying, they can be inconsistent in terms of how doughy a pizza is.
But
it's
will
never
be
under
doughy.
doughy.
Yeah.
It's either doughy enough to an acceptable amount or it's too doughy.
much.
That's the line they run.
One thing I've noticed as well, and again, this harks back to me being computerly illiterate, which isn't a phrase. I don't know where that came from in my brain.
I loved it. Run with it.
But they also sell a thin base, which I didn't know.
do.
I've never had that, so I'd be interested to see how thin it actually
Again,
is.
we do understand that we're limited in terms of the food that we've got here, but
Yeah.
there's only two of us.
Like, the chicken was nice. Sometimes that chicken disappoints me if it's not crispy enough. Like, you know, when it's a bit soggy and you're like, well, it's meant to be breaded, but it's actually just wet. But that one was nice. Also, I will take time to say that Domino's sauces, their dips, their garlic and herb business is the best one you can get. It's so nice. Their garlic and herb dip is so nice. Like, my favourite part of eating a Domino's, often, actually, what I'll do is if we're in a large group,
Crusts.
always someone who won't eat their crusts. So what I do, refrain from eating the actual pizza and will just eat, like, a collection of crusts in the sauce. They're so... It's like eating breadsticks.
And you're not the only person to think that.
Exactly.
I know other people who definitely think that
Because
as
the
well.
sauce is so nice. Their barbecue sauce is strong, and their barbecue base that they use for their pizzas is also
I used
a
to dabble in
solid
that.
choice.
It's not bad at all.
And I don't usually like barbecue base. Sometimes it's too sweet and it's minging. But theirs is nice.
So there are a lot of good things to say about Domino's then, but
Oh, don't
at the
get
end
me
of the day,
wrong, yeah.
oh god, I don't know now.
I know, it's so hard to properly par them, because they're like, the things they do well, they do really well. Like, if a classic Domino's pizza for me,
Well, surely it must be a vegetarian pizza for you, is it not? If it's a classic Domino's pizza.
no, because I've been introduced to it this year,
Oh, you've had more of it this year
but
since
I've
you...
eaten it loads this year,
Right.
because it's
You're like late to the game.
was the only one
Maybe
like
it's earlier in uni when you
Yeah.
hit it hard.
I'm less frivolous. No, I'm more frivolous with takeaway this year, which is probably quite bad. But like pepperoni and jalapeno Domino's, just that on your pizza is so good, because the jalapenos are really nice.
I agree.
I did just have one; it made me cough, but I ate it on its own.
Wow.
I didn't dilute it
You're
with
a hot
cheese.
heat demon,
Yeah,
clearly. Slightly punched out by a single jalapeno.
it was nice though, worth it.
So, really then, they're nearly the same price now.
Yeah.
If they'd still kept up the whole 50% discount thing, we'd
I'd
have
be
to
all
give them a
over
big
it.
old hand for that.
And if we were perhaps with... Another thing to consider is your group size. For me and Luke right now, this was admittedly quite expensive, wasn't it?
£24? £25?
Yeah, about 24 quid, wasn't it?
Yeah, 24 quid
something.
for a large pizza that we admittedly created ourselves.
Two drinks.
2 drinks and
And the
chicken
chicken.
strips.
And with that, we got 2 dips, courtesy of Domino's. But if you're in a large
That
group...
wasn't the discount code as well, remember? It was basically 30 quid.
Yes.
We got
Yeah, it was
discount.
with
We
a
did get a
discount.
discount code, but it just wasn't a huge, like a strong discount code. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't as good as what you could get in the past.
But if you can get together a group where you will be spending 40, 50 quid and you can get the discount that applies, I think you probably could manoeuvre it so that you're under a tenner each and you get enough food.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
So in that respect, I think if you've got a lot of people...
Under a tenner, it's 100% achievable because we
Yeah.
only spent barely over a tenner.
Exactly, only 250.
And we're on like the
over,
bottom
also.
of the spend spectrum. We can't really spend
Yes.
any less.
No,
when a
we couldn't
pizza
have spent
costs
less.
nearly 20 quid on its own and we spend 25,
Yeah.
we couldn't really spend any less unless we just literally ordered like some chicken strips or something.
Yeah.
Like, we don't want any pizza today, thank you, Domino's.
Just the strips.
sides, please. Yeah, and one of those wraps with a Z on the end. 2 Zs on the end.
Of which they ain't looking right.
No.
I think from the looks of them, it looks as if they make an ordinary wrap and then like put it in a panini press.
Probably.
So it's not baked.
And it's
like,
probably just the exact same ingredients that goes on the top of the pizza.
Oh,
Which is
definitely.
fine. Jury's still out on that, though.
Yes.
Sorry about that. We can't buy everything.
We weren't. We considered
I wanted to get
it.
the cookies as well, but I was like, as much as I want to get the cookies and really have a go at whether they're good or bad, I can't because it's expensive and like we weren't going to eat it.
In it, because I kind of wanted to get the wrap to get it, but I knew I wasn't going to eat it.
Yeah.
I
Well, I
didn't have
nearly
any-
got one. Like
yeah.
I was like, we're going to get this veggie supreme wrap and see what it's like.
And then we.
And then we didn't end up getting it because we didn't need it to get to the voucher we needed.
Yeah.
And we're like, I'm not going to spend even more money. We're already spending 25 quid between us.
Yeah.
And like,
So if you do get a wrap or have eaten one, and you
Please
happen
let us
to
know how
want
they
to
were.
comment on the podcast,
please,
do
one of the
tell
4
us.
people that listen to this, please tell us if you happen to have had one.
I
But-
was thinking ahead to the podcasts of the future, of which there will be at least one.
Fantastic news.
I thought that in that one, or we could do like a mini one, where we like run down all the ones that we've done already.
Oh, that'd be such a great idea.
So like,
Is
'cause-
the revision for that us having to re-listen to all of our podcasts?
Well, because for me, the one that always sticks out in my mind as like a decent one that's passed the test of sort of quality and money and stuff like that is Subway. Subway did quite well for themselves.
Yeah,
Especially now, if you go on a Tuesday, you know, you can get a foot long for the same price as a 6-inch.
that's good.
One day of the week, they do like this mad thing where
It's cheap.
It's no skin off your nose to get the other
Yeah.
6 inches. Because I went and the guy was like, because I was like, oh no, don't.
Because
move.
you wouldn't eat a foot long anyway.
And I was like, oh, I won't eat it all. He was like, well, what I can do is wrap it completely separately, and you can just
See
eat it
you
later.
later.
Yeah,
2 subs in one day. That's pretty brutal as well, though.
yeah. It's a lot of Subway.
But listen, it's still great work by them. You know.
No, I thought it was good.
We'll wrap it up. We've barely talked about pizza, but I think the top and short of it is we can't make a definitive decision between Domino's and Pizza Hut. They've now put themselves.
Yeah, so
Well,
true.
Pizza Hut seems to have pretty much stayed where it always was.
They
Domino's
never
have had slight
declined, yeah.
changes, and now they almost sit 1A and 1B in terms of like every category.
I think the overall determining factor genuinely is your group size.
Yeah. And in another one, like I know this is the crappiest answer of all time, but I think it's true. Just personal taste.
Yeah.
Like they're that close in terms of like not one of them is like completely shoddy and the other one is clearly better.
Exactly. If you're
Do
in
you
the
prefer
doughy
slightly
part,
doughier stuff?
yeah.
Then Domino's might be more for you. Do you prefer things to be slightly more crispy, like
Yeah.
slightly cooked for slightly longer? That's not like to say that you should. Like with the way, like I almost feel like when you say things should be cooked for longer, it's like you're claiming they're undercooked. I don't mean it like
Not
that. I just mean
necessarily, yeah.
there's that little margin for error where you can go between like cooked just enough and then burned, but
Yeah.
the gap between that is like a good few minutes in the oven if you're cooking a pizza, and like they are on different ends of that margin.
Yes. You've got issue with reliability of your nearest one as well.
Exactly, but at this point, like if you're based in a city, you probably get either of them in a stone's throw. I think.
Exactly like a Mackey's. It's gonna
If
be
you're out the
coming
way, I
from-
understand it's entirely different, but like,
Yeah.
yeah,
The
like, if you've got the
conclusion
choice,
with the trilogy pretty much is that
Papa John's
Papa
is
John's
third.
just definitely didn't win. And then he's not a winner in life, he's not a winner here.
He's a
like
lovely man.
what we, as Luke said, all we can seem to put it down to with these two is, do you prefer Domino's or Pizza Hut?
Yeah.
Because their pizza is intrinsically different.
Like, it's just the fact that we all three of us, including Grace in this, obviously, because she was there for Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
All three of us were shocked at how much better Pizza Hut was than our previous perception of Pizza Hut.
Exactly, yeah.
Just proves that, like,
Grace made the pretty salient point as well about Domino's, is that she made that
about the group side,
it
the
was
group
a
thing. There's one person in every
beautiful
group.
analogy. The Ouija board situation where Domino's often are the forefront runner because their branding is such and they've got like the history that they're usually the first pizza you'll think of.
As a student.
As a
slightly younger person.
As a takeaway pizza that isn't got the grease thing where it's coming out the bottom of the box, you know what I'm saying? You know, it's
but I think Pizza Hut just generally is aimed more at families.
Yes, exactly. Their branding is
But you know
different.
why though? Because Pizza Hut have got restaurants and Domino's haven't.
Yes, with the ice cream machine and the bar, the pasta salad
Pizza
bar.
Hut can literally house customers.
Yes.
Which is far more of a family environment, I think.
But Domino's are just like,
and Domino's don't do that.
We'll sell to anyone who wants pizza.
Yeah. But having said that, there's a distinct difference between the quality in a Pizza Hut takeaway and a Pizza Hut restaurant, I think, sometimes.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
I've never eaten in their restaurant.
The restaurants, I think, are better. But they should be, because it's a restaurant. It's a sit-down meal.
It's not travelled in
They've
the
concentrated
car.
slightly harder. Like, it's not some like man driving the food to you and like you paid less for it.
It should be that way as well,
like,
because if you're sat there, you can just be like, "Excuse me, sir, like there's
and
something
people
wrong
will.
with this."
And people will.
Whereas you're less inclined to do that over the phone, like.
And it's just more fresh.
Yeah.
Like, you'll get it within 3 minutes of it being served as opposed to within 25 minutes. Like, that makes a big difference, like.
Yeah.
But anyway,
it says a lot though. Like, we thought Domino's was going to be the best just because it was Domino's.
Yeah.
Not for any of
It's
them.
funny how that came
reason.
from 3 students. Like,
exactly.
We were prisoners of our own perception, basically.
We've all learned something here.
We did. But it's really hard now. Like, I'm having such a psychological warfare in my head about this because...
Gun to your head, who would you pick?
Not just that, but also because, like, I get the nostalgic thing with Domino's now because I used to have so much of it when I was a little younger.
Yeah.
It now, my brain's perception of it is different.
Yeah.
Like, I find it really hard to get away from the fact that it just tastes like food I ate 2 years ago, and like it feels like actual nostalgia. So I can't just judge it as pizza
Funny
in a vacuum.
how your body
like,
does that, isn't it?
Yeah, like I'm thinking about like, oh, I remember when I used to eat this pizza. Like, and that has an effect. Like, so I'm trying to keep it as impartial as possible, but it's really quite difficult to do.
I think
it's 1A and 1B, and you can decide yourself whether it's 1A and 1B. And like we said, it depends on
money,
group size. For example, obviously, if you want to have the option of like sitting in, like having a proper sit-down meal and want to have pizza, you've only got one option in that case.
Yeah, if you want like 4 different kinds of chicken.
Yeah, or like Pepsi or Coke if you really care that much. If you like Lucy.
I do care. I actually
exactly.
Just do
like
care
if you want
much.
on any given day, you might just pick Domino's over pizza purely because it's got Coke.
Yeah.
But not all people are like Lucy. That's why we like it.
There's a reason for it.
Yeah. So we think go for both. Like but put it this way:
Embrace
if you
them
think
both.
you've already got a favorite, try the other one immediately.
Yeah.
Next
so
time you get a
true.
pizza, get the other one. Just trust us.
Because podcast 1, I was like, these are all going to be rubbish compared to Domino's, and now I'm like, past me was wrong. So. If you've not had Pizza Hut as a Domino's eater, give it a go.
And if your original perception ends up still holding true for you, and you end up thinking, I thought Domino's was way better anyway, and I also still think that after getting a Pizza Hut, that just trust that might be more of a reflection of what your personal taste is, as opposed to the fact you were already correct.
The actual
you
pizza.
actually might not have been correct. You just looked into being correct because you just perceived that one was better, and as it happens, for your tastes, it was better. But I actually don't think there's a lot between them.
Me neither. It all comes down to like sides and that.
So also, I haven't mentioned this yet. Congratulations, Lucy Miller graduated. Yesterday? 2 days ago?
Yeah, yesterday. Literally yesterday, yeah.
She's officially qualified.
Oh, for very vague things.
Yeah, like what? Tell us what you...
Bro, so I've got like...
So what is it, combined?
So I majored in English and music, but my 2/3 of my degree was spent doing also modules in classics and French. So...
She's a master of all trades.
Like, I was thinking back to it, you know, when you do like a little reminisce of your own life. Last year, I made a podcast as part of my classics module.
Did you really?
A podcast. And it was the funniest thing. So, I think I've got it somewhere. It's really funny. It's me, like... I don't know if you ever noticed the YouTube trend, like, Draw Your Life. But it's me discussing the topic, but with, like, a camera facing the notepad, and me, like, doing little drawings to try and sort of articulate what had to be, like, academic writing in a sort of presentable way. Absolute baloney.
It sounds kind of cool.
Maybe
I've just
so much
fallen
more
for it.
effort than writing a paper, like a comprehensible paper, than me, like, drawing stick men of of ancient Grecian women and being like, they're this way because of this, and sexuality was thought of like this, and my voice in it, like,
Hey, but everyone hates the voice, though.
the topic doesn't call for a northern teen, does it? Not teen now.
Your voice was made for this.
Hello, we're
For
going to talk
this.
about Greek women now.
No, this. It was made for this.
Food,
You
yes.
can talk about food all day, mate.
Rape in ancient Greece, no.
Okay.
This voice does not fit.
I'll take your word for it, because I would also not be a voice for that podcast either.
Take the course, though, if you're at Newcastle Uni. It's a blast.
Yeah, but congratulations again.
Thanks, mate.
You leave when?
I leave.
We're recording this on the 10th of July.
Hello, 10th of July, it's me. I will be leaving probably Sunday or Monday, I reckon.
That's depressing, isn't it?
Oh, bloody hell it is. Although my parents are coming in a van, and I think it's one of them where you can have 3 people sat in the front like a sitcom,
yeah.
like Only Fools North is. So I'm actually quite excited. I'm going to sit in between them and be like, hello.
Wow. The simple things.
It's the small things, isn't it?
It is.
But thank you. Graduating was actually quite difficult, so...
Yeah, exactly.
I take it.
It's worth the congratulations. Like,
I
it
take
is.
it kindly.
That wasn't just a thrown in there like,
Yeah, you're
oh,
like,
congratulations.
congrats.
Like, because I feel like I'm obliged to say that. Like,
Yeah.
well done.
Thanks, mate.
You had a mad, exactly like I say, you had a mad
mad
mishmash of degree of like subjects and.
Wouldn't change it. You meet some weird people.
Yeah, you do.
Sometimes you end up making podcasts about food, like...
I would never have predicted this as being a thing in my life at all, under
know-
any circumstances.
We've had guests, we've had KFC.
We've had some great food. Well, we've
bad
had some food.
Christmas Greggs, don't do it.
Yeah, let's just finish this one with a bunch of like conclusion based one-liners.
The guy that works at Subway in Newcastle is actually really nice, despite what Luke says.
Oh, that
Don't-
guy. That guy. God, I forgot he existed. Oh, that guy.
Don't go to Christmas Greggs.
Don't go to
Sainsbury's
Five
meal
Guys.
deal is no longer
Oh,
existent.
God, yeah, that's terrible.
As you said, don't go to Five Guys.
Um,
Always eat on a gym ball when you can.
Oh, we've had fun, haven't we?
I've had a
We're not
great
done,
time.
but
It's
it's
not
been
the
great
last
fun.
one.
Yeah, but it's been great fun. And then
Yeah.
it will be incredibly sporadic from this point on.
Yes,
But who cares?
innit?
We enjoy them. Anyway, goodbye, everyone.
Thanks for listening.